So you want to learn astrology fast. There actually is a cheat code to this. So whether you're a beginner or an advanced student of astrology, the information can be overwhelming. It can be a lot. And the more you learn about astrology, the more you realize it's just ever growing. It's a universal law. It just keeps going on, going on, going on. So there are 12 energies, and if you understand these energies thoroughly, it can fast track you to understanding planets, houses, and signs. The aspects are a later date. So, understanding these 12 energies, which are basically the signs, but they're also correlated to the planets and they're also correlated to houses. So, if you're a beginner, there are 12 signs. I'm sure you've heard about the star signs. And then you'll have a chart, and these are 12 different houses. Now, all these houses are also the same energy of the signs, but it's just more of an area of life. So, understanding a sign, correlating it to a house, you can understand the energy of that house a little bit more. Same with planets. So, each planet will correlate to a sign, will correlate to a house. Again, same energy, but it's exerted in a different way. So I'm calling these 12 energies instead of 12 signs because I'm not just talking about the signs. I'm correlating it to the houses and to the planets. So if we start out with understanding these energies, so for instance, we've got the 12 signs that we know of, which are also the 12 energies. Um, these signs are separated into four categories, which are the elements: fire, earth, air, water. Fire is kind of obvious. It's fiery, it's passionate, it's explosive, it's fast moving, it's hot, it's heavy, it's ready to go, it's lighting up, it's giving. And we need fire. We need the sun in our lives. Trust me, I know I'm from the UK. So the fire is everything in terms of giving energy. We see that through people as well, when they've got fire placements. I mean, even if you're incompatible with fire, it's still like they are giving, like they are bringing the energy to the table. So in terms of psychological descriptors of fire, this is the initiator. This is quite impulsive, fiery, passionate, larger than life. This is fire energy. Then we've got earth, very, very different, not compatible with fire, would you believe? Earth is very grounded, it's structured, it's matter of fact, it's responsible, it's very material, very much of the senses, very much like rational and steady. This isn't to say if you've got these, you are this. This is, we're just breaking down the energies here. All these energies are within all of us, but they'll be heavier in some than others. So very grounded. Think of earth, think of the mud. Like, we need it, we need to rely on it. It gives us structure, it gives us growth, it gives us stability. Then we move on to airs. Now, airs, they remind me of like birds flying in the sky. Just looking at birds, they're so social together, and they're so um it just feels like there's not a care in the world. The idea of flying, that freedom, this is all air related. Air is not emotional. It's quite the opposite of emotional. So they don't. Everything's a bit of banter and it's a bit of information. It's kooky, it's fun, it's not that deep. That's one thing about airs. It's not that deep. Airs compatible with fire because they're anyway. I won't go into that, but it's compatible with fire. Not so very compatible with earth. Earth is a bit too serious for air, but it's logical, it's information, it's about the mind, it's about relationships, but not necessarily lovers' relationships. It could be friendships, it could be any kind of relationships, but it's keeping it to that conversational, communicative, interested ideas place. And then, of course, we've got water, which is kind of obvious. I feel like fire and water are quite obvious because it's emotions, of course. Think of the ocean, think of tears, think of the rain, think of the vibe of rain. It's all very emotional. Um, and it doesn't have to be heavy. It can be, it's everything. That's emotions, isn't it? And it's very deep, it's very meaningful. It's everything's feelings based. In this place, everything is feelings based. So different to all the other elements. All of them are so different. Okay, so we've sectored out these four elements. Then we've got three signs per element. This is how you can quickly understand the vibe of the sign. And if it doesn't match up with this element, then this isn't the sign. When people say, "Oh, my boyfriend, I hate Pisces because of my boyfriend," and they're a Pisces sun, but everything else is in Aquarius, it's like, mm, whatever you're describing them as, if it's not fitting into that water domain, if you're saying he's emotionless or he doesn't care about things, that's not Pisces. That's your boyfriend. And it's also not the side of him that is Pisces. So for fires, we've got Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. For earth, we have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. For air, we have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Nearly forgot that one then. Then for water, we have Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I won't go into breaking down those signs just yet, but they do differentiate between each other, but they all have that element. That's their basis. So these are quicker ways to understand these 12 energies. So once you understand these particular energies, you can correlate it to the houses. So there's 12 houses. So for the beginning, we've got Aries. Of course, it's a fire sign. Of course, we're going to start out as the initiator, as the impulsive leader. Let's go with Aries, with fire, sorry. Of course, we're going to start with fire. And out of all the signs, it's Aries. So Aries, like I say, is that initiator, is the leader of the pack, is impulsive. If you match that up with the first house is obviously the beginning of our charts, hence why whatever sign is there, we factor that in as our big three. Our rising sign or ascendant sign is a massive part of our chart. So that first house is a very, very obvious, loud, and in your face part of the chart. This is what we look like. This is how we carry ourselves. If we've got planets here, everyone can pretty much see them because we look like it, we move like it. It's very, very obvious. And we also correlate this energy, so this beginning, this initiating energy, to the planet Mars. You know, when they say Mars are from, no, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, because Mars is a very masculine energy planet. And I don't mean masculine in the conventional sense, I mean it in terms of yang energy, if you know about yin and yang. Very external. Definitely don't mean, I will do a video on masculine and feminine, because it doesn't mean blue and pink. It means, if anything, it's the other way around, isn't it? Pink and anyway, let me not go off. This is a very, very masculine, meaning very yang, very go-getter type of energy. If you think of the first house, you're trying to learn the first house, think of that as the beginning. It's what we look like. It's how we're presenting ourselves. It's very obvious. It's very visible. So next we have Taurus, which correlates to the second house and correlates to Venus. Now there are two signs that correlate to Venus. So this is one aspect of Venus, and this is very, because Taurus is an earth sign. It's very grounded. It's very sensual. It's of the senses. So you know, you're thinking of comforts. These are things that are very important to Taurus. Um, just how they physically feel, food, these kind of very physical things are very important. Relating this to the second house, this is the house of possessions. This is the money house that they talk about. This is the house of values. I will go into depth into all these houses and signs at some point, but this is the basis. And then correlating that to the Venus, which again is the beauty planet. It's very harmonious. In terms of the second house, Venus would be absolutely about the physical beauty, the physical senses, the physical harmony. If you've got second house planets, you probably care about physical things. You probably care about interior design or food or the home or those physical attributes. But you may have no Taurus. So these are the same energies. Moving on to Gemini, which is an air sign. This correlates to the third house and this correlates to Mercury. Now, Gemini, air sign, it's all about third house of communication. So it's again, same energy. It's about communication, it's about siblings, it's about neighbors. Um, People that have planets here tend to be quite chatty, or their mind is very going all the time. Same with Gemini. If you've got a lot of Gemini placements, you will have the same thing. Mercury is the communication planet. This is shared with another sign as well. The Mercury of Gemini is much more about conversing. Moving on to Cancer, which is the fourth house. The fourth house is of the home, the upbringing. This fourth house and Cancer also relates to the moon, and the moon is our emotions. This is to do with the maternal figure in our life. It's to do with our internal emotions and feelings. Moving on to the fifth house, Leo, fiery, and this is a very playful house, very creative, but creative in a fun way, in a very expressive way. If you're good with kids, you've probably got planets here. And this is, of course, aligned with the sun. So once you understand, if you're trying to understand Leo more and you know fifth house, which probably isn't the case, if you're trying to understand the fifth house and you know Leo, then you can understand where the fifth house is coming from. So it's a bit of it's a cheat code into understanding these things all together as opposed to separately. Same with the planet, understanding where the planet's coming from. When you understand the sun is Leo, it's like, oh, okay, it's here to express itself. It's here to be seen. It's not here to be hidden, you know. Moving on to the sixth house of Virgo. So the sixth house is all about organization and daily habits and structure. And this is obviously Virgo, which is, if you know Virgo, it's an earth sign, but it's very detail orientated. If you've got a lot of sixth house, you're probably a hard worker. You're probably, the ideal receptionist, someone that you want to do a service for you. You want sixth house. And this is also correlated to the planet Mercury, but in much more of a earthy way. Instead of the Gemini, it's much more of an airy way. So it's much more about communication in the mind, asking questions, trying to figure things out. Virgo is very much about figuring things out. They're very similar, but it's a different, they're coming from a different place. Um, and earth signs are very much, they have to know, they have to be the ones in charge. They have to understand everything, and um but in a very practical sense. Air signs are similar, but it's coming from a very different place. It's almost just information for information or ideas. And it's like, isn't that the whole point of life? Growing and conversing and learning. Whereas earth signs are a lot more like, I'm doing this for a reason and I'm going to act it out, practice it out. But again, you've got to look at where your planets are. You've got to look at your aspects. There's so much to look at. But again, I'm hoping this can kind of fast forward things a little bit. I will be bringing in so many more videos to explain in detail all of these different things. So then we have what we've got next, seventh house, which is the Libra house. And this is correlated to Venus, as is Taurus, but Venus is coming from an airy place, Taurus is coming from an earthy place. So in terms of the Venus, for Taurus, it was much more about the physical beauty attributes and that physical harmony. And uh, Libra is coming from an airy place of, again, the mind. So it's a lot more about the actual relationships and how they feel. It's not so much the physical beauty, although Libra does really care about that. But that's just kind of like manifested or materialized like that. So Libra is much more to do with relationship harmony, big on the people pleasing, wanting to make sure everyone's involved, bringing in other people. So, is everyone okay? Is everyone feeling good? Like, are we not in an emotional way, in a harmonious mind way? Think mental when you think of air, all in the mind. It's not emotional at all. Moving on to the eighth house. So again, if you have planets here, big for relationships, big for harmony. And again, Venus is like that. It's a nice, harmonious planet. So then we move on to the eighth house, the Scorpio house. So this is a very, very deep house. If you've got planets here, you've probably had to go through some stuff, a lot of psychological stuff. Again, will make you a very deep person. Um, and Scorpio is a water sign, but it's a dark water sign. There's a lot of depth there. This relates to, of course, Pluto. And Pluto is very much that. It's about psychology, occultism. Um, Again, that just means hidden knowledge. But what's internally going on? A lot of this house can be quite hidden from us because it's so deep. Moving on to the ninth house of Sagittarius, fiery, expansive, way up high on that chart. To do with philosophy, to do with travel, exploration. Of course, this is Jupiter, which is known as the lucky planet. So wherever you've got this, it expands. So same energy. 10th house, of course, Capricorn. This is the career house. Well, if you've got planets here, you really care about your status. You really care about what you're doing in the world, legacy, um, and very much quite active. Wanting to really make your mark, putting your mark on the world. This is related to Saturn. When you hear about the Saturn return, the heaviness, yeah, this is serious. This is a very serious place. Then we go to the 11th house, Aquarius. So this is about community. This is a humanitarian place. This is of the people. Very Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign, and that's very much the energy of it, relating this to Uranus. Uranus is wherever you got Uranus. This is I'll beat to my own drum, if that's the expression. I do as I want. You can't put me in a box. This is a kooky place, very different than everybody else. Then, of course, you've got the final house of Pisces, the 12th house. And this is that final energy, very elusive. This is a deep house to explain. It's very hard to understand. It's very hidden as well. It's very much subconscious stuff. If you've got planets here, very misunderstood, even to yourself. This is correlating to the planet Neptune. But as I say, I will go into all of these in depth in future videos. But this is just the cheat code of understanding all the planets and all the houses and all the signs, those 12 energies. If you already understand the 12 signs, this will be a quick way to understand the planets thoroughly, to understand the houses thoroughly,